Hello there, future people. This is Funny Demetrius, and I'm late. I had this huge event, and I'm basically at the end of the mark. But I had a perfect explanation for this. Busy and trying to add stuff. So, anyways, let's get into Evermoss. Yes, because this is where you can see Super Saiyans pump up. You see ninja throwing and finger translations. And you can also see 14-year-olds basically in skirts for no apparent reason. Actually, why was that a problem? But we're not gonna go into that, mostly because we are getting the introduction of anime. Yeah, that's why I said introduction, because this is the most awesomest thing for no introduction at all. Because you need a brief history on it. Because I spend days, months, a year learning about the ancient ways of anime and its shows and its games and everything else in between. But we are not gonna hear. Yeah, you don't want me to start explaining myself. In between the 1930s and the 1960s, there was basically a era, if you will. It is called the adaptation era. Also because anime is basically just an adaptation, mostly. Now, the term anime is mostly a Japanese animation based on said Japanese books, mostly. They're basically called manga, and man, they were good. They're basically good. And so, with the 1930s coming along, the Crunchyroll has basically made a section so you can see the 1990 and 1940s videos, which is called the Classic Anime Japanese Collection. This is where you basically see everything brought into you. What the Japanese brought into the Japanese, basically. And so it's pretty good. It's pretty good. But it's kind of short and whatnot. Let's face it, we would not pay attention to this for 6 minutes. Which is why 1960s we basically had anime where they can actually speak American. Go figure. But none of that is, shall I say, updated or nudified. What's it nudified? It was in color, which would basically add up mostly, because there have been shows that in the 1960s that was actually pretty good, like Astro Boy and Speed Racer and let's face it, 1960s we basically remembered Astro Boy and Speed Racer, mostly because it was the years of discrimination, where everything was blah 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 and blah blah blah, which is why we needed those few shows to show us the way that robots can be humans too. Oh yeah, and apparently a monkey can, be bit. But nonetheless, those shows, I'm saying Astro Boy is good, but anyway, those shows were basically so good that they added sequels, reboots, and there was basically prequel about Astro Boy, and I feel like I want to do reaction video about that. Reaction video. And so, with those shows being introduced and children or teens actually watching them, we actually go through the 1980s and 1970s. Scratch that. 1980s and 1990s. Cause best say, does it when the anime is basically awesome right there. With basically Sailor Moon, Dragon Ball Z, and no wait, Naruto wasn't even up there. So what other popular brand in the 1960s would basically introduce and was a good idea at the time? Digimon! Okay, Digimon wasn't like in the, mostly not in the 1990s, but it was in the 2000s, which is why I'm just gonna go out there and say my section of 2000s, and basically a section where we did bad. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, we did really, really bad at that era. It was the kids version era. Not like the 1990s with the own US era. This was just basically the kids era. Everybody basically saw anime, and so they decided, hey, why don't we just show this to kids? Bloody gore and blues fighting. Okay, they took out the bloody and gore stuff, but it was bad at that time because they could not get like the characters even white. Ask me this. You basically see a tall, buff, rebellish type of guy who is basically trying to stop a Frieza force. Would you think that guy was a scientist? I think not. Because mostly for kids and Ocean something. Let's face it, that one we'll forget it. Because 4Kids basically raises some questions. Mostly, not even 4Kids, to be honest. There was Toonami who actually did it, and Cartoon Network too. And so, with that in mind, they had made some actually good shows on Cartoon Network and Toonami. Like, have you guys ever heard of Naruto? I think I missed a bow. But, and, Cowboy Bebop, who were literally introduced by that. Yeah, they started that. Man, I bet I can do the same thing right now. But, anyways, they were their own collection of good and bad. So, I guess it was okay at that time. But, there's something that still confuses me. Right now, mostly. Because in the 2000s century, we began to see a era which there's more anime based on 2000, but they're still weird. Like, just read if you can see what the problem is. Because mostly you see people having a new season with 4 episodes on it, where Dragon Ball Z has the most versions of Battle of the Gods and everything else in between. And can people just don't get me started on the Sailor Moon reboot? Just, it looks good, it just, really CGI? Really CGI? But, nonetheless, there are a few glowies, you know, underappreciated stuff. I do have a watch list on Verve, but it's kinda good and not kinda good. When are people gonna start watching Gintama? But, anyways, so that was basically the areas that you need to know. The original era, the adaptation era, basically, and the US, the kids, and the complex era, which we're still on it right now, mostly because of ads and timing, and with so many episodes with OVAs that I can't even discuss, which I'm going to discuss about tomorrow. But yet, all of those are actually pretty good. Like, you see them and you see what work being brought out to you. You see the beautiful scenes. You see the amazing shots. You basically see men shouting, but it was a really good man who was shouting. Yeah, I'm not gonna do that. But, anyways, that's what anime is to you. Now, I know that I'm not the right guy at the right time who can basically discuss about anime. I'm probably gonna, next year, I'm probably just gonna do this again, but I'm just gonna be more in detail about it. Was I in detail about it? But, nonetheless, thank you for watching, and there are actually more stuff on the way for you. Yeah, I'm not doing Ruby. I'm just not doing Ruby. I literally see like one of you people just say like Ruby, but no Ruby. I'm Demetrius Wicks, and I'm out. When are people gonna start talking about